What's poppin' knights? It's Sonokage, otherwise known as the King. And I hate my life right now. As much as I wish that was a joke, it is absolutely not. So a few weeks ago, I should say now, I was just coming home to my mom's house. I was going down in the basement where my room is right now. And I noticed that a pipe was leaking. I was like, okay, that's probably not good. So I called my mom downstairs to let her know, hey, you should call your landlord. The pipe is leaking. We noticed there's a wrench holding the pipe up. It's a vice grip, right? It's holding the pipe up. I look at it, I was like, hey, it's leaking really bad. That wrench was rusted. We should call the landlord. My mother, in her infinite wisdom, love that woman to death. She has my heart and my soul. Decides to punch the vice grips. And what happens afterwards is completely expected. She punches the vice grips, they fly off, and the pipe falls down. And all of the water from the drainage pipe goes right onto my iMac, 2013 model, old as hell, right? So, not at all waterproof or water resistant. It gets soaked, completely drenched in water. And a few years ago, my ex-girlfriend, bless her heart, I love that woman still. She is super cool. We're friends to this day. Her mother gave me a 20-pound bag of rice. And I've had this rice for like 5 years. Only because I constantly forget that I have a 20-pound bag of goddamn rice in my kitchen. Well, in my mom's kitchen now. And I constantly buy more when I go to the store. So this 20-pound bag of rice came in clutch. I've had this iMac 2013 model sitting in this bag of rice for the past 2 to 3 weeks. And I think it's working now. Like, I'm confident enough to record this new video. I made a new intro, so that's cool. And I think I've talked your ears off a little bit for a while. So let's get into today's topic of discussion. What if Naruto was in the My Hero universe? All right, Lego. Last time we met our heroes, they were exhibiting their quirks in a practical exam, showing that they are that they are fit to stay in class 1A. As they did, they found out that Sasuke has 3 quirks available to him. Naruto has partial control over the Four Tails form of his quirk, not losing himself to his own anger, and Deku can momentarily burst into 20% without damaging himself. After they did their practical exam, Sasuke met up with the two, that being Midoriya and Naruto, telling them that he wants to meet with them on the roof of the school after class tomorrow, I should say. They don't know they're having exams. After class tomorrow. But things happen and power gets out of control. So let's find out what new discoveries there are in this chapter of the story. Let's get into it. Woo!
Don't have time to waste, the king is into
Beast
Your
mode.
ninjas better hide away before I try to beast my vibe.
Not to win this fairy tale, I got the heat flow. Back the lead in the trunks, I got the heat dome. Got the flow going crazy, that's a shuttle clone. I switch it up and interchange, and yeah, that's how the story goes. Sharingan or Rinnegan, pick one. Either way, you'll stay gone, cause bygones ain't bygones. Then in my hand, make your all go and run. If I just pull that rock, you are so stay like a cost. These hands is napalm. Fuck around and find out what I breathe with the sample. Someone put the brakes like an ape, you a prince. Oh, I'm a king, what you tell me with no prince? Look, got the knife right behind me in the back. Still gonna fall down when the dogs attack. Oh, like you know, see, I'm the leader of the pack. So don't you lay down, bitch, pay respects.
Hey.
It's the next day. Naruto and Deku are walking to school and chatting, and Deku drops a big question. Hey, Uchan, we have to meet Sasuke after school today, right? Naruto's usual smile fades as he continues to walk. All he can offer Izu is a deadpan answer. Yeah, we do. Deku, noticing his friend's change in tone, continues to question. Do you even know why he's here? Somebody with 3 quirks? He must be invaluable to your old village, right? Naruto starts to walk a little faster as he responds. Izu, I'm sure Sasuke's gonna tell you, so can we just change the subject? If I'm being honest, even back then, I could never tell what was going on in that guy's head. Deku apologizes, He then continues the question, trying to piece together what's happening.
Uchan, this may come out of nowhere, but why exactly were you banished? I mean, you were a kid, right? They had to have known whatever you did, it wasn't on purpose.
Naruto stops walking. Just thinking about it brings a chill to his spine, the mere thought giving him nightmares as he speaks. I've actually thought about it a lot, especially lately since we started mastering our quirks, but whenever I try to remember, it's all like a faded dream. But one thing I can remember clearly is the smell. Deku places his hand on Naruto's shoulder and tells his friend,
Hey, I'm sorry, Naruto. If it's too painful to remember, you don't have to.
Naruto's smile returns as he continues to walk, telling Deku, Nah, it's okay. For some reason, I feel like I need to remember. And after seeing Sasuke, I think my village might not be what I remember. Deku smiles.
Well, maybe I can help you. What did you smell? We can figure out your past together. And maybe even get your village to welcome you back.
Naruto smiles, fades, turning morbid, as he drops his bag to his side. They won't welcome me back, Izu. Deku turns towards his friend, his brother, and asks him, what does he mean? As Naruto turns around, they see that they're in front of UA. They realize how lost in conversation they were. And Naruto speaks of his only memory of that night as he walks into the building. Uchan, all I could smell was fire and blood. And then me, at the center of all of it. Naruto walks inside the building as Deku is standing there, alone, with a horrible feeling in his chest, trying to go over the situation in his head. He knew Naruto must have gone on a rampage after getting his quirk. But in his mind, Naruto was only a kid. How much damage could he have possibly done alone? Did Naruto kill people? Was Naruto actually alone during this rampage? He knows Naruto's quirk is powerful, and that they haven't even scratched the surface of it. And it's awakened by intense feelings, but if all he could smell was blood and fire, that means Naruto couldn't have been alone. His quirk had to have been activated by something or someone. But what could have made Naruto so angry he lost control like that? He's never been an angry kid.
Move it, you damn nerd!
Deku's concentration was broken when he sees Bakugo coming up from behind him.
Oh, Kachan, good morning. Sorry about yesterday.
Bakugo walks past Deku and gives him one message.
You're not stronger than me. You got that, Deku.
Deku just watches, confused, as Bakugo heads into the building. He then himself runs upstairs into class and sits down, where he sees Naruto chatting with Tsuyu and Todoroki staring at Sasuke and Ida yelling at Bakugo. He smiles and sits down, waiting for class to start, when he hears,
I am entering the door like a normal person.
All Might enters the room, and the class itself is in awe, as he gives today's instruction.
I teach basic hero training. It's a course where you learn the basic aspects of being a hero. If you wish to graduate, this will be the class that grants the most credits. So let's get into today's main topic of discussion: combat training.
Bakugo and Naruto jump out of their seats in excitement as All Might points to the wall and their hero costumes pop out, and All Might continues.
Hero costumes, based on your quirk registrations and requests you sent in before school started. After you change, go to Training Ground Beta.
They do as they're told, and All Might continues instructions.
They say clothes make the man. However, young ones, today you have the opportunity to make these clothes scream hero. Do them proud. Now, for today we will be beginning basic combat exercises.
Ida interjects. Sir, we'll be conducting urban battle exercises. No, All Might responds.
We will be advancing 2 steps. The most villain encounters happen outside. That is true. But if you look at the numbers, the most atrocious villain encounters happen indoors. Imprisonment, back alley deals, house arrest. In this society of heroes, the most atrocious villains are smart and hide in the shadows. In this class, you will be split into heroes and villains. and fight 2-on-2 indoor battles.
Sue interrupts. Without basic training?
Real battle to understand those basics. However, there aren't any robots for you to destroy for points.
All Might then pulls out his tiny little scripts as he continues.
The situation is that villains have hidden a nuclear weapon somewhere in their hideout. Heroes are trying to dispose of that. They need to capture the villains and get the weapon back. In the allotted time, the villains need to protect the weapon or get rid of the heroes. You will be decided at random. The first team of heroes.
And the teams go in order as such. Team A, young Midoriya and Ochaka. Team B, young Soji and Todoroki. Team C, young Benetta and Yayarozu. Team D, young Bakugo and Ida. Team E, Aoyama and Ashido. Team F, young Sato and Koda. Team G, young Kaminari and Jiro. Team H, young Uzumaki and Asui. Team I, young Uchiha and Hagakure. Team J, young Ojiro and Tokiyami. Team K, young Kaminari and Zero. After announcing, All Might pulls the first two teams to fight. And it's Team A and Team D.
Team A will be the heroes, and Team D the villains. Everyone else head to the monitor room.
The rest of the students leave, resulting in Deku, Ochaku, Ida, and Bakugo. Ida and Ochaku can feel the intensity as Bakugo and Deku glare at each other. As Bakugo yells,
You really think you can win, don't you, Deku?
I'm not your punching bag anymore, Kanchan.
Without a hint of fear, Midoriya responds. Bakugo just grunts as he walks away and states,
I don't care how long you or that loser hid your quirks. You're not better than me. You got that? And today I'll prove it. Get out of my way.
As they leave, they hear over the monitors, villains go set up. In 5 minutes, the heroes will break in and the battle will begin. As they head up and reach the bomb, Bakugo and Ida converse.
Hey, you and Deku went out to eat yesterday, right?
Ida confirms this as Bakugo continues.
Did that nerd say anything about his quirk? Like when it activated?
Ida takes off his helmet as he continues to talk. No, he didn't say that, but I assumed that it activated at quite an early age. His knowledge on his quirk was quite thorough. I did ask him about it though, simply because it was so similar to All Might's. But the only answer I got was he needed perfect control or he'd damage his own body. So I would have to assume it's nothing like All Might's quirk itself. Ida continues to watch as Bakugo grows more silent. As Ida asks, and speaking of Midoriya, you always seem especially angry when it comes to him and Uzumaki. But Bakugo doesn't hear him. Lost in his own head, he yells,
That nerd! He tricked me for years! How dare he! I'll make him pay.
Meanwhile, Ochaku and Deku are memorizing the floor plans, as Ochaku says.
It's a lot of work memorizing these plans. And All Might's exactly like he is on TV. So, unlike Aizawa, there's no punishment. So, we can just relax.
But Deku is just mainly focused on the floor plans, not hearing Ochaku. She gets his attention, asking him if he's okay. He smiles, trying to help her relax, as he states,
Yeah, it's just we're up against Kacchan. But don't worry, Ida and Kacchan won't know what hit him. We'll win.
Ochako laughs a little bit. Deku asks her why, and she just giggles, saying,
You sounded a little bit like Naruto. I don't imagine that voice coming from you.
Deku blushes as he responds,
Well, we are a little like brothers, and we've known each other for such a long time. He comes over my house, so I kind of borrow his confidence. It helps when I feel anxious. But I've got a plan. Bakugo most likely will leave Ida to guard the bomb. And if I confront him, he'll be too angry to communicate, giving you a chance to sneak past and get to the bomb unnoticed. Once you get there, let me know.
She smiles as she states,
You know, I feel like I can actually count on you. And you sound like you got your own confidence, so you should use it more.
Heroes, begin your infiltration.
The two nod and head in through the windows. They sneak around corners when they're assaulted by Bakugo, alone. Deku smiles, This is exactly as he planned. As he rushes Bakugo, throwing him into the wall, creating cover for Uraraka. As Bakugo stands up, he speaks.
Good, Deku. You didn't dodge.
Deku smiles.
I'd figure you come for me first, Kachan.
Bakugo scowls.
What the hell's with that creepy smile?
Deku jumps along the walls as he approaches, but Bakugo just uses an explosion to dodge and damage Deku. He then creates another explosion, rocketing himself forward, as Deku, instead of running away, charges Bakugo to dodge his attack, ducking under his strike, punching Bakugo in the face, launching him back. He continues to rush, but Bakugo launches upward before slamming down. Deku dodges, but Bakugo grabs his leg, throwing him into a wall, knocking the wind out of him. Deku digs his fingers into the wall as Bakugo launches himself up. The boy exploding the area where Deku was. Deku grabs Bakugo's shoulder, doing a somersault over the boy, slamming his back into the ground. Bakugo makes a dull explosion that's full of light, blinding Deku, letting Bakugo punch him in the gut before taking his left hand, preparing an explosion. But Deku headbutts Bakugo. He then kicks him away as Deku thinks to himself.
This is just like when I fight Naruto. They don't give me any time to think.
Bakugo spits out blood as he yells.
How dare you look down on me, Deku? You think you can hide your quirk for years, and that gives you the right to look down on me and laugh behind my back? You've always been an ant I could crush whenever I felt. But now that I look in your eyes, that attitude you have, like you're actually going to win, surpass me, it's disgusting.
Deku wipes blood from his lips as he yells back.
Is that what you think? In the beginning, I had nothing, and you had everything I could ever dream of. Along with everything I hated about you, I saw vividly all the amazing things you could do. You were such an amazing person who meant more to me than All Might.
Deku rushes even faster than before, punching Bakugo in the cheek as he continues to yell.
It's because you were so amazing, and right next to me, I kept chasing after you. I grew alongside Naruto while hoping I could get closer to you.
Bakugo and Deku roar as they rush each other. They run past each other. Deku was the first to turn, landing a kick on Bakugo's shoulder. He then spins around, aiming for an axe kick, but Bakugo dodges and charges a massive blast in his right hand. And at that second, Deku's earpiece starts to buzz. He leans into Bakugo's right hand, taking the explosion, using 15% of his quirk to speed up and forcing Bakugo's hand upwards. The force of the explosion was enough to shatter the floors, launching the bomb upwards, letting Uraraka grab onto it. They win, but the force of Bakugo's explosion knocks Deku unconscious. All Might and Naruto run into the building. All Might announces that the hero team wins, and Naruto runs to Deku and tells his unconscious friend that it was a good match. He then turns to Bakugo as he states, "Hey, jackass, why do you look so surprised? This fight was obvious from the start." Bakugo says nothing. He just stares at his hands, lost in his own head, starting to hyperventilate. And Naruto continues, "Wow, it's actually kind of creepy when you don't yell back." Naruto walks up to Bakugo, placing a hand on his shoulder to ask if he's okay. But Bakugo slaps his hand away, yelling, "Don't touch me!" And Naruto scoffs as he yells, "Wow, you are such a jerk. I was only trying to help. Maybe if you opened your eyes for once, Bakugo, you could have won." Bakugo screams in frustration and confusion after losing.
Both of you assholes have been tricking me for years, and now you want to act all high and mighty? Screw you! I don't need your help.
Naruto's eyes turn red and his fangs start to grow as his rage ensues. But All Might grabs Bakugo's shoulder as he speaks.
Young Bakugo, calm down and listen to him. Young Uzumaki was watching your fight more intently than anyone else. Always understand, whether you win or lose, there's something to gain.
Bakugo stops hyperventilating, and Naruto speaks. "My uncle taught me how to accurately judge somebody's strength before and after a fight. You have to watch them, even the smallest things they do. The way they move, the way they breathe, the way their muscles contract when they're preparing to punch, and the comfortability they have when activating their quirk. And I watch you and Izu closely. It was obvious to me you couldn't win. You're stronger than Izu, there's no doubt in that. But your mind wasn't. You were so focused on winning the fight, you lost the war. And I've been watching our classmates too,
And there's 3 people in our class I know you couldn't be at your best, Bakugo. Do you want to know who they are? The 3 students who you have to watch.
Because I won't tell you unless you ask. Bakugo stares Naruto down. Their red eyes meet as Bakugo calmly, for the first time in years, says,
Naruto. Just out with it. Tell me. I need to know.
Naruto calms down. Hearing Bakugo say his name was just weird. His eyes return to normal. His fangs recede as he states, Sasuke is number 1 in our class as far as I could tell. No one else could take him. Todoroki is right under him. And the scary thing about that is, he walks so uncomfortably on his left side. He's holding back. And the final person in this class you can't beat is me. And to be honest, even without my quirk, 6 times out of 10 I could probably win. But with my quirk, you wouldn't stand a chance. If you don't believe me, I'll take you on with that. I'll take you on whenever. Bakugo yells.
You miserable pissant! Do you really think you're better than me?
Naruto smiles as he states, now that's what I'm used to. It's weird hearing you say my name, jackass. But I know I'm better than you. And it's because you stagnated. You haven't grown since middle school. That's because you were the best back then. You didn't have to. And because of that, you just became a hurdle for me and Izu to jump over. But I've already passed you, and Izu isn't too far behind. I'm aiming higher than anyone at this school. My goal is to be better than my dad and All Might put together. And Bakugo is silent, unable to argue with Naruto, as he knows what he said is true. He resigns himself to watch the next match. Team B, the heroes, versus Team I, the villains. So Sasuke and Hagakure head upstairs, and Hagakure tells Sasuke,
Hey Sasuke, let's take this serious. I'm gonna take off my clothes and go full stealth.
Sasuke Uchiha, 3 quirks. His first quirk, Flame Breath. He can shoot fireballs that are, the hotter he makes them, the more stamina it drains. His second quirk, Flame Control. He can manipulate any flame that he produces, as long as it remains in his vision. His third quirk, Lightning Palm. He can produce lightning in his left palm. This drains his stamina rapidly. He can also fire the lightning in straight arcs.
I honestly just kind of realized I never explained what Sasuke's quirks were in the last episode, so I explain them here. Now, let's get back to the story. Sasuke just stares at her as he states, that's stupid. The other kid with more than 1 quirk will most likely launch some big attack. So, just stay close, and I'll keep you safe. She blushes. I think. She's invisible. Hard to tell. But then her voice grows in confusion as she responds.
Wait, Todoroki has 2 quirks?
Sasuke scoffs. Yeah. Ice manipulation and fire manipulation. But for whatever reason, he chooses not to use his fire. So, this will be easy. The heroes walk in, and right on cue, Todoroki freezes the whole building. But expecting this, Sasuke melts the ice using his fire breath quirk. He then uses his flame control quirk to circle the fire around the room. It's hot enough to melt the ice, preventing any more from growing, but leaving water on the floor. Hagakure then hides on top of the bomb, while Sasuke confronts Todoroki. You're Shoto Todoroki, right? And you came alone. Freezing the floor has cut off any chance for rescue. You should just give up. Your ice quirk is useless right now. If you move, I'll electrocute the floor. Todoroki scoffs. You're Sasuke Uchiha, right? You wouldn't dare. You'd hurt your own partner. Sasuke smiles. I'm supposed to be the villain right now. Who cares if she gets hurt? Although, you could protect her if you forfeit. Sasuke then charges lightning in his palm as he holds it towards the ground and continues. So, what's your move, hero? Todoroki is left no choice but to surrender. All Might declares the villains the winner, and Sasuke turns around to the bomb as he says, You can come down now, invisible girl. She giggles, saying alright. She then jumps down, but loses her footing so Sasuke catches her, and she gasps.
Wait, you can see me?
Sasuke sighs. No, but I've been training since I was a child to detect people who are hiding. So I knew you hid on top of the bomb. And I could hear you falling. And Todoroki looks at the boy who's complaining that the girl is in his arms. As he thinks to himself, it was a complete failure. His hand starts to steam with anger. The next team was announced. Team K, villains, versus Team H, heroes. Sue and Naruto talk outside, going over floor pans. When Sue asks Naruto about his quirk, and Naruto explains, "Oh, my quirk is called Kurama. It can activate in 10 stages. With each stage, my physical strength increases. Same thing with my speed and senses. But I also get really, really angry. I only have access up to 4 tails right now, and I can't do it too well yet, but that's where this special kunai comes in. With it, I can use the power of 1 extra tail without going into an angry state. But what's yours, Asui?" She smiles as she tells him, "Call me Sue. My quirk is called Frog, so basically anything a frog can do, I can do. I can jump really high, I have relatively strong legs, I can also stick to walls, and my tongue can extend 20 meters. Naruto smiles as he adds, "Oh, you should also have like a danger sense too. Frogs have very sensitive skin. They're able to sense changes in the wind and avoid predators or track prey." Sue tilts her head as she questions, "You know a lot about frogs, huh, Naruto?" Naruto smiles, "Yeah, my uncle has a quirk that deals with toads, so I'm just guessing. They can't be that different, right?" Sue then straightens up as she states, "With your strength, I do have a plan, Naruto." Naruto smiles. The time starts, and they head in. His eyes turn red and his fangs start to grow, as his blade starts glowing red. As he rushes into the building alone, he runs through the floors where he finds Kirishima and Sito guarding the bomb together as he smiles. "So, you're both here. Good." Naruto begins to charge his energy into the blade as it begins to grow a deep dark purple. His eyes, he yells, "Tailed Beast Blade," Tails Beast Blade slash, unleashing a devastating slash that cuts through all of Cyril's tape and the wall outside, giving Sue the signal. Naruto smiles as he places the blade on his back, getting into hand-to-hand combat with Kirishima, while slashing at the tape that Cyril shoots at him. With his claws. In hand-to-hand combat, Naruto is second only to Sasuke and Ojiro. He knows the multitude of martial arts and fighting. Kiri, who's a brawler, is easy to deal with after all. He's distracted as he grabs Cyril's tape. He swings him around, knocking him into Kirishima. Sue then wraps them both up with her tongue, and Naruto walks over to the bomb and places a hand on it. As he yells, "Mission complete!" Him and Sue give each other a high five. And Naruto tells her, "Hey, after a good mission, good food is always the best. Come grab a bite with me. I know a great ramen place." Sue blushes as she says sure. And as Naruto and Sue walk off, Sasuke walks up to him. "Since your friend is in the hospital, we'll meet up later tonight. Find me at the park at around 8:30. Understood?" Naruto's smile turns to a frown as he stares Sasuke in the eyes. "Right." And I think that's where we're going to end it for today. So, did you like it? Did you hate it? What you rate it? I feel like this part was pretty cool. I got to go over the next fights in the next chapter, even though they're not main characters. But, it's cool to see what's going to happen. It's going to be pretty similar to the actual show. And I feel like the conversation that Sasuke, Naruto, and Deku are going to have is going to be insanely interesting. Also, how do you like the dynamic between Naruto and Bakugo? As well as Bakugo and Deku, because it changed quite a bit in this chapter. There's actually a rivalry starting to form a little bit earlier because Bakugo needs to acknowledge Deku's strength at this point. He can't keep looking at him as a nerd. He fought him to a standstill. If those two attacks clashed, most likely what would have happened is they would have knocked each other out. Or Bakugo would have came on top. Because Bakugo is still stronger than Deku, who's been building up from ground zero, and Naruto's stronger than Bakugo because he's been training and fighting his entire life. Especially at this point where he got kicked out the village. They had to find somewhere to go, so him and his dad, while looking for his place to live, have been fighting for a while. Also like the dynamic between Naruto and Sue so far. I think it's kind of cute. And same thing with Deku and Ochako. And Sasuke and Hagakure is kind of funny. It's fun to write for those two. But with that being said, I wanted to do like a little call thingy. So if you get to the end of the video at this part, let me know by typing "I only watch for your outro" in the comments. So that'd be a little cute thing. Also, what did you think of the new intro? I loved it. God damn, I thought that thing was so goddamn cool. All right, but that's enough. I can't do commenting on call outs. Super busy studying for the firefighter exam coming up soon. Super excited. Oh, and before I forget, what was I about to say? Naruto and Avatar. I had quite a bit of writer's block because I am changing the story up super big in the next chapter. I sorted it out now. I know exactly where I'm going with the story, what I'm going to have Naruto do, and how I'm going to have his interaction between the Fire Nation and himself. So that's coming out soon. Just gotta put some finishing touches on it, make sure that it's actually coherent and that the story doesn't fall apart at this point. And I think that's it. Like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal, baby. Oh no, Kage out. Peace.
Nobody speak, nobody get choked. If he run the homie, gonna get smoked. No time for the lame ass jokes. I'm the GOAT. You a gringo when that story's been told. I make money moves, controlling every view. Oh no, you got hella proof, but no one's helping you. What's wrong? Now you on your own, you really want the smoke. Oh no, Chico really done did wrong. What's wrong? The hollow matter in the skyliss, bro. Keep talking crazy, I might go posto. Always trouble when they go too far. Nobody mess with me familiar. Father.